Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Quick reminder to those of you, maybe new listeners, maybe those of you that have been a longtime listener and have not taken the time to leave a 5-star review, leave a comment, or click the follow button. Please do so, as it will continue to grow this podcast and allow those that are searching for answers, searching for validation, searching for support to get that. I don't know how all the algorithms work, but I know that leaving a comment, leaving a review, following truly helps, and we would greatly appreciate it. We love being able to do these podcasts every week, and the more people that it reaches, the more it helps. And that's why we do it, so that we can help those that are, like we say at the end of every episode, that are looking for healing and recovery and really wanting to learn how to choose themselves in this whole journey. So if you're in a position to hit pause and go and do that for us, we would really appreciate it. Today, I wanted to follow up on last week's episode that Alana and I did, where we talked about trickle disclosures and ongoing discoveries that keep your nervous system spinning and in shock. If you've lived through that, you know that the body doesn't just take that information in, it absorbs it. It shakes, it freezes, it braces, it starts scanning for danger, even when you want so badly to believe that you are safe. So today I want to talk about what happens next, how those experiences impact your body long after discovery or disclosure, and why listening to your body becomes one of the most important parts of healing. Listening to your body really matters, especially through lies, secrets, or ongoing trickle disclosures. Your mind tries so hard to make sense of the chaos that it's experiencing. It starts spinning with questions. Is this real? Can I trust myself? Did I just imagine that? Am I the problem? But your body already knows. It's the tightness in your gut when something feels off, or the fatigue and exhaustion that comes every time you're gaslit, the ache that hits when you silence yourself just to keep the peace. Your body holds truth faster than your mind can form words. And listening to it is how you start to reclaim your own authority. So your body is saying, I have been here the whole time. I know the truth. And it really wants to help you find safety again. I was just helping a client reframe some of these cognitions for her own self, as her body was extremely activated. She had some chronic illnesses that doctors for years have not been able to figure out, which hands down, this tells me this is trauma, right? Doctors can't solve it. Medication doesn't solve it. No one knows what's going on. Yeah, this is trauma. And there's been years and years of this chronic pain that she's been experiencing. Of course, she wants it to go away, and she's coming to me for some somatic work, brain spotting and Alexander technique work, so that this pain that she's been experiencing will go away, right? No one wants to experience pain. We want it to go away. And yet I was noticing as she was telling me her experience and sharing her story that inadvertently she was really frustrated with her body as she was describing the pain and discomfort that she was experiencing, mad at her body, frustrated with her body, blaming her body, or feeling like her body was betraying her because it wasn't doing what she wanted it to do. It wasn't responding to all of the myriad of things that she was trying to do to help ease the pain, get rid of the pain. There was a lot of thoughts about her body being wrong, as it was just in so much chronic pain. The reframe that we were working through is that her body was actually right, that her body's response to chronic pain and the things that were happening in her body and how it was showing her things aren't right, things are not okay, was through this chronic illness. And that we can do a lot of shifting when we just shift the way that we think about our body, the way that we view our body in this chronic pain, in this illness. And something clicked for her as we were walking through this reframing, for her in particular, the chronic pain and the way that her body was handling this chronic pain when she shifted her viewpoint around this. And I was saying, okay, if we listened to your body and we believed your body, what is it telling you through this experience, through this physical sensation? And what her conclusion was, is that, well, my body is telling me that I haven't been safe and I'm still not safe. I said, okay, if you believed your body to be right, then what do you feel like your next step is? And for her, it was separation. She needed that separation to be able to create some safety for her and her situation. This is really what I want to talk about today is listening to your body and believing it. But for so many of us, we learned to not listen. Most of us were never taught how to listen. We were often taught to be nice, to be polite, to be agreeable, to not make things awkward, to not rock the boat, make a fuss, keep the peace. So we learned to override any of those signals that our body was sending us, the no's, the discomfort, the tension. Many betrayed partners also grew up in environments where emotional or physical discomfort wasn't validated. So again, their nervous system learned disconnect from body equals survival. And if you grew up in chaos, if that was part of your growing up environment, chaos, conflict, emotional neglect, then you likely learned very early on that listening to your body just made things worse. How many of you feel that right now? If I listened to my body and believed it, it's just going to make everything worse. In fact, many of you who heard my example of this client and her conclusion was separation, many of you might be listening and going, oh, yeah, that's just going to make things worse, right? So we stay disconnected. Staying disconnected, then we go up in our head, we analyze, overanalyze, fix, control, because that's what feels safer. And honestly, that coping mechanism served you for a really long time. It did me. It helped me survive until, betrayal blows it up because betrayal exposes a lot of those places where we've been disconnected from our body. And it is brutal because the very system we learned to distrust becomes the one we most need to heal through our bodies. When we don't listen, there are immeasurable consequences. When we keep overriding what our body is saying, it doesn't stop talking. It just turns up the volume. That is where the chronic pain, illness, and disease comes in. It starts maybe with a whisper, then it leads to tension, and then headaches, and then irritability. And then that escalates. We have anxiety and panic and insomnia and the chronic fatigue, chronic pain, autoimmune flare ups. Maybe you stay in freeze mode where you're unable to make decisions, move forward, or feel very detached from your intuition. And so you're not sure what's real at all anymore. But your body is going to keep turning up the volume until you listen. And sometimes it's whispering through that tension, and sometimes it is shouting through illness or burnout. When we continue to ignore the body, it's going to keep you stuck in those trauma loops. And it makes it really challenging to think your way out of trauma. And it makes it really challenging to think about what that next step is because you're not going to think your way out of trauma. You have to feel your way through it safely, gently, and really at your body's own pace. But when we're ignoring it, when we're mad at it, when we're disappointed in it, when we're not really creating boundaries to protect and keep our body safe, then we're not going to be able to feel our way through it. What I really want to convey today and hope that you all hear is that you don't have to wait for disclosure or more discovery to find the truth. So often, my divorce ladies that are struggling to find closure without disclosure. And sometimes they feel like they're never going to heal or never really going to be able to move forward because they don't have the full truth. One of my favorite things to do in terms of work is help those clients to find closure without disclosure. And the way that we do that is start to really listen to the body. So often, my betrayed partners get trapped in that desperate waiting, waiting for the partner to come clean, waiting for the next disclosure, waiting for all the puzzle pieces to finally make sense, waiting years at, again, the cost, a great cost, the cost to their health, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Waiting, thinking, believing, even subconsciously that they need that in order to move forward. They need that in order maybe to not feel so guilty for maybe walking away or taking separation. And while all of this is very understandable because you absolutely 100% deserve the truth, that waiting can keep you frozen in someone else's story. If that person, if that someone else isn't ready to be honest their story with themselves, they're certainly not going to be honest about their story with you. What I want you to know is that your body already knows. It carries truth in ways that the mind can't always articulate. And that's why even when you didn't have quote proof of something, something inside you felt off. It's why your stomach dropped when something didn't quite add up, or why your chest tightened every time you were told you were overreacting. Your body was never lying to you. It was holding the truth until you were ready to see it. I was just doing a brain spotting consultation, and my client was asking some questions about what does a brain spotting session look like? What can I expect? This is what I really want to work on. I want to get rid of this particular issue. And she was very specific in this activation and this issue that she wanted to use brain spotting somatic work to heal. But I said, we will absolutely start there. That will be our activation attention grabber. And I really want to prepare you for your body to show you something different. Oftentimes, we want to wrap this whole thing up. We want to wrap trauma up. We want to get answers. We want to get closures. Give me XYZ. I want to be at the end of this alphabet, right? But what I've seen as I do somatic work is that the body is like, well, hold on a second. That might be true, XYZ. And I need to back up and I need to show you ABC, or I need to show you J. The body knows what to heal and when you're ready to heal it. Because not only does your body keep the score, it also knows what and when and how to heal. When we allow it space to do that, which is what somatic work does, when we give it space to do that, it will give you the truth because your body was never lying to you. It was holding the truth until you were ready to see it. And even if your partner never discloses everything, even if you never get the full story, your body can still lead you towards your own healing. Healing does not depend on their honesty. Thank God, because if it did, there would be many, many clients, and myself included, that would not be this far along on their healing journey. It does not depend on their honesty. It depends on your own alignment with truth, and your body is where that alignment begins. When you start listening to your body and believing it, and you begin to integrate what's real, not what's necessarily been told to you, but what's felt by you, we can start to make some progress. And that's how you move from seeking external proof to reclaim your internal knowing, from waiting for truth to embodying truth. Now, oftentimes I will get this question after I say something like this. Okay, Amy, but I believe my partner is being honest now. I believe that I have all the truth, but my body is still amped up, anxious, hypervigilant, activated. I still have chronic pain. So what if my body is wrong? What do I do with that? And I think this is such an important question. And I really want to validate this because your body isn't always signaling current danger. Sometimes it is still responding to past danger that hasn't been processed yet. That activation, again, isn't proof that it's wrong or you're crazy. It doesn't always mean that your partner is lying again. It means that your nervous system hasn't yet received enough consistent safety to stand down. I think of it like this sometimes. When a soldier comes home from war, their body doesn't just instantly relax just because they're back on American soil, safe ground. It takes time. It takes repetition. It takes a different routine that's in their safe place and evidence that safety is real before the body stops bracing for that attack. And your body is doing the same thing. When your system is activated, instead of asking, is it wrong? I want to encourage you to ask, what is this part of me trying to protect? What might it need right now to feel safe? You might have truth, and many of you might be coming right out of disclosure. So, yeah, you have truth. But like I said, we're still missing some of that consistency in other areas that create the foundation of safety, right? Truth, yes, got to start there. Transparency, yes, got to start there. But we need empathy, humility consistently over time. That might not be happening. I also see, and I just want to point this out because I do see this happen, the truth might all be out there on the table. Remember, betrayal comes with abusive behaviors, lying, deceiving, gaslighting, all of the different tactics and techniques that are used to hide the acting out behavior is abusive. We also sometimes have additional destructive behaviors, abusive behaviors happening as well. In fact, Kim Day and I talked about this several episodes ago. I think it's been a couple years. We did a 3-part series on this topic. Maybe I'll try and get the link in the show notes to those episodes. Might be a good re-listen to. One of the things that she pointed out was that yes, we might have truth. The partner might be, let's say, sober, not doing those acting out behaviors. And yet the betrayed partner's body is still not calm, not feeling safe, very highly activated, because oftentimes there are the other domains in the relationship that are still destructive. There might still be covert psychological, emotional, relational, financial, sexual, physical abuse happening. And so where we see this get weaponized is, see, I'm not acting out anymore. I'm not looking at porn anymore. I'm not with the affair partner anymore. I am sober. Or I told you all of the truth. And see, you're still activated. You still don't trust. It's your problem. You're the problem. It's not me. And yet we have all of these other destructive pieces happening that we just aren't looking at. It's really important for me to include that in this conversation. I don't want to make that the whole part of the conversation, but I see this show up when I talk about believing the body and listening to body. I will often get those that are like, okay, but he isn't acting out. I know he's not acting out. Why am I still not safe? Again, listen and believe your body. That is always still going to and forever be my go-to response. And here's the other thing I want to point out. Even if you're wrong, Vicky Tibble Palmer's Bill of Rights, you have the right to be wrong. Many times because we have not believed our body for so long. We've learned to disconnect, distrust, discount our body for so long. Our bodies often need to believe that we will listen for it to start regulating differently. So giving yourself time and space to be wrong is also part of listening and believing your body right here. When you've gone through betrayal and abuse, that shift from doubting your body to dialoguing with it is where healing starts. It's teaching your nervous system that it's finally being listened to and believed, which then allows it to slowly settle and recalibrate to safety. So if there is truly safety being created by your partner because there's truth, there's honesty, transparency, empathy, there is integrity, and it is starting to be consistent. There is that safety being created. He's meeting you where you're at, right? Coming to that 180. Then if that's really happening, there's this period of time where you've got to give your body space to recalibrate to that safety, which is being created. And therefore, we need to give ourselves permission to be wrong. It's going to take time for your nervous system to believe that you're really going to listen to it and trust it. And so sometimes your body might test you. And that's why it feels so hard. Listening to your body after betrayal can feel terrifying. Not only because sometimes we're worried about being wrong, but because sometimes what it says confirms what you've been trying not to see, that the relationship isn't safe, that someone isn't being honest, that there really isn't consistency, that the words are not matching the feet, that the words are just getting more crafted, calculated, sound better. The tactics are getting more challenging to see through. And maybe you don't want to see that you may need to take action that you don't feel ready for. You need to take a step in a direction that you never wanted to go. That's why so many betrayed partners keep busy, keep numbing, or keep trying to figure it out in their heads. The body speaks truth, but it also holds pain. And until we have the tools to hold that pain safely, we're going to avoid it. Now, I really want to be clear too that this is not about doing any of this perfectly. Okay. It's about just starting to notice again. Notice your body. Trust that your body is your ally, not your enemy. Healing happens when your body and your mind start to work with each other instead of against each other. And that's what I often see when I have clients come wanting to do the body work, the somatic work with me, is I can see these little subtle, and sometimes not so subtle ways where they're in that fight against the body. And we have to start to shift. Like I was saying with that client, we started to just adjust, make just a small adjustment and a shift in the way that she was viewing her chronic illness and disease at the time, working with the body, believing that the way that the body was showing up in pain was right for what the body was seeing and recognizing and living in. Okay, so where do we begin? As always, I like to give you something to practice to do with some of these episodes because I know that's how my brain works. I'm like, okay, this is great. And what do I do? And so many times that's what all of my clients want. Just tell me what to do. Here are some gentle starting points. Number one, body check-ins or body scans. Pause and notice the sensations that you might be feeling right now. Maybe even actually literally hit the pause button on this podcast episode. Push the pause button and notice the sensations that you are feeling right now. Warmth, tension, heartbeat, pressure. Don't try to fix them. We're just going to notice. What are the sensations and where are they showing up in your body? A body check-in. Number two, breath awareness. Notice how your body breathes when you feel safe versus when you feel triggered. I will oftentimes see clients who are doing brain spotting sessions that they are either holding their breath, they are breathing very fast, or it's almost like their body can't catch a breath. If you're on YouTube, you might be able to see what I'm talking about here a little bit more clearly, but it's almost like they're constantly trying to catch the breath. Like the body's like, right? Just grasping at air and it can come out of nowhere. Being aware of your breathing. I was a breath holder. When I started to notice my breath and be more aware of my body, I always knew that I held my breath, but I was actually shocked at how often and how long and how much I was holding my breath. I did not realize to the extent that like a pro breath holder, but what is your breath? How are you breathing? And how is your body responding to your breath? So creating more awareness around your body, around your breath. And then number three is somatic journaling. Instead of writing your thoughts, write about what your body feels. My chest feels tight. My stomach feels heavy. My throat feels clenched and restricted. Note the somatic sensations and experiences that your body is having. When you write it down, you'll see patterns. When you see patterns, you see more reality. When you see reality, you have more clarity. When you have clarity, you have truth. So creating a somatic journal can be something that is really, really beneficial, gets you out of your head, especially for you overthinkers, into your body. Number four, movement or stillness, because some of you move so much and so fast because you're afraid to be still. Because if you are, you might notice your body. And some of you are in freeze mode and you're not moving, that we're stuck. And so we actually need to get up and move the body to start listening to the body. So let your body express itself. But really, this is just about letting your body express itself. Sometimes it needs to move. Sometimes it needs to slow down and stop. Sometimes it needs to cry. Sometimes it needs to dance. Sometimes it needs to punch a punching bag. Creating some of that movement or intentional stillness will help you listen to your body. And then the last one is attuned touch. Placing a hand over your heart or on your cheeks or wrapping your arms around your shoulders and saying very intentionally, I'm here with you. You're safe with me. These are acts of reconnection. Every time you pause, every time you listen, you are rebuilding that trust with yourself, which again, going back to afraid to be wrong, we have to be willing to be wrong in order to rebuild that sense of trust in that relationship with our bodies, with ourselves. Your body has been speaking to you all along through whispers, sensations, with shouts, and sometimes with chronic pain, illness, and autoimmune. It's not broken. It is wise. It is the most honest part of you. If your body could speak right now, what would it say? Maybe it's saying, slow down. Maybe it's saying you are safe. Maybe it's saying we're not. Maybe it's saying you knew it, you've known it, and you know now what your next step is. Whatever it's saying, believe it. Because even though betrayal impacted your body, it didn't destroy your body's wisdom. Isn't that great news? It is still the home of your truth, the place where healing happens. Your body remembers. It's not trying to punish you, it's trying to guide you back to you. It's where you reclaim yourself and stop living in your partner's story and return to your own, to your truth. Listen to your body and practice believing it. It is just that. It is a practice. No one is ever going to get perfect at this. That doesn't exist. But I do know that the more we practice, the more we can access that truth, that clarity, stay in reality. And I think that's what a lot of us are seeking so desperately for. If you're realizing how much your body has been holding and you're ready for a safe place to begin reconnecting, I want to personally invite you to join myself, Alana, and Hallie Roderick for Rise, Renew, and Restore Somatic Healing Retreat in July in Costa Rica. This retreat is created specifically for women healing from betrayal and or a life-saving divorce, a place where your body can exhale, release what it's been carrying, and learn to trust itself again. Everything that I've been talking about today. You'll experience deep somatic work, restorative movement, connection with other women who get it, and moments of very real, embodied collective experiences in healing, as well as individual. To learn more and reserve your spot, you can go to chooserecoveryservices.com, click on services link, and scroll down and you will see the Rise, Renew, and Restore 5-day intensive. Or click the link in the show notes because you deserve to feel safe in your body again and you absolutely deserve to heal. Thank you for joining me today. And as always, continue to choose healing, choose recovery, and choose you. Take care, everybody.